Welcome to the MoistyVoice episode 60.
60! 60! Woo, woo, woo!
Today, we're going to break
dozens.
away. That is 5 dozens. I'd buy that for $1. 5 dozen of anything, frankly. That's a good deal. Yeah. There are very few things where 60 for $1 is a bad... Yeah, if it's pennies, then you're getting...
Or hate pennies.
But, we're going to break away from the Jason facts.
The 610s.
Briefly. For a Todd fact. Specifically, a Todd Howard fact.
I can't tell if this is true or not.
We don't care about the truth.
Todd Howard in college hacked into Bethesda and stole a copy of Terminator, or just ripped a copy of Terminator 2029 from them, started playing it, and then went and asked for a job from them because he had improvements for the game.
Yeah, he made the next Terminator game.
Yeah. So
that might
I know that.
That might be real.
Yeah, I know that, but he hacked into Bethesda in college, stole a game from them,
fixed it,
and had thoughts about
Give
this.
Me a job.
Just literally came up with a copy of the game on a CD. I have thoughts about this.
I was gonna steal it and just have a good time, and then it was terrible.
It was a lot easier to get a job back then when you could just walk into Bethesda's office and they didn't actually have a desk clerk yet, so you just walked into the room and it was just a dev room, and you're like, "Hey, thank you for gathering. I have thoughts about your game."
Your unreleased
a shitty PC, it's just a CD. You just slap it on the table. It sucks. Give me money and I will make a better one.
I wish more places work like that.
You just take someone's desk.
I would love to just...
Okay, well that's just Elon Musk at that point.
He's doing a bit. Let's do a bit. Damn.
Well, I was just saying, I'd love to get more jobs like that. Just walk into a bank, be like, "Hey, I took this safe last night, and I gotta say, you gotta work on your organizing, because you're all over the place. You really should be going off of serial number, not off of denomination." And they'd be like, "Oh, let's give this guy the vault job." And then
I come back the next day. I stole this last night. Your security sucks. This was a test, and you failed.
That's just a white knight hacker, though. That's already a job. That's how, what was the one kid? There's a kid who, hacked into Google something or other. He, did something huge to, Google a couple years ago, and they gave him a job, on the spot.
Yeah, that's how you get a job.
You fuck them over and actually fix something.
But, I don't know. I want to steal things and get rewarded for it, and then also get to keep the stolen thing.
I'd give the hitman that tries to kill me a job.
You know what? You almost did it. That was pretty impressive. Counter offer. I'm your boss now.
Would you give the Bitcoin hitman a job?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Step 1, get some Bitcoin. Step 2, find this man.
It's cheaper now than it will have been 12 minutes ago, or...
Quantum money is confusing.
It's very weird.
I want to say that something's a good deal or a bad deal, but I can't because it's both. It's just in a perpetual state of, why did we do this?
Because the money could be there, but it also couldn't, depending on when you're observing the money.
But we've come to expect the unexpected here on the MoistyVoice, such as Pokemon is doing Funko Pops now.
Well, there is a Pokemon Funko Pop.
That's more than I ever thought they would ever do, though, because they seem to be so averse to it.
In our friend group a week ago, we didn't think that Funko, or rather that Nintendo would ever do Funko Pops for Pokemon because they have amiibos, and they wouldn't want a counteract to the business.
Well, even despite amiibo, they just have so much merchandising on Pokemon that what's one more? Frankly, they could just make 4-inch tall vinyl figures, and it'd be fair game. I
understand the, what's one more, but in this specific market where Amiibo is both the in-game reward, but mostly, alright, we're finally selling, these collectible figures for characters in our games, Funko directly competes with that, which is why it was surprising that they would do Funko, if not other things.
Yeah, I figured if they were going to do Pops, they were just going to do it themselves, not call it a Pop, and just really skirt the...
the
line of is this ripping off Funko?
Now that they've done at least one, though, I need them to go way full in because I need to get myself a May and an Eevee.
Oh yeah, May Pops for sure. May Pops are a for sure thing.
If they don't do May, they have to be dumb, right?
Yeah, no, it's Someone fuckled. If they
I'm
don't
sorry.
do
Spell May.
M-A-Y.
Yeah. M-A-Y.
Oh, the character?
Yes.
I thought you meant
The one who has Mudkip.
Yeah, I was expecting you to say a Pokemon and not literally anything
Oh,
other than a Pokemon.
Trainers, baby. We're going straight for trainers.
I
We're
was
going to
just
see
like,
fucking May.
it's
We're
not
going
a
to see
thing.
Misty. We're going to hopefully not see Ash.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I do not want an Ash pop.
We cannot have the Pokemon females because r/slash coming on
figurines is
can't handle
make a
it.
fortune.
They can't handle
Right.
that. That's too much for
Too
them.
much jizz.
If they made a goddamn Ahsoka pop, I need to get a May pop, alright? It
Multiple
can't just be one.
Ahsokas.
Because I haven't gained both of them.
But I don't know, like, I just really was surprised when I had a coworker come up to me like, hey, I heard that Pokemon's doing Pikachu and it's going to be Target exclusive. Like, do you think that's real? And I was like, no, they would never do that. And why would they make it Target exclusive? That's so weird.
That's
but
fucking stupid.
But on July 29th, you can get your Target exclusive Pikachu pop.
only Pikachu and only at Target. No reasoning whatsoever behind either of those decisions. Well, the Pikachu makes enough sense, but other than that, it's more weird that it's only one.
I was checking out the Funko weekly Q&A to see if they answered any questions about further Pokemon pops. And I didn't find a solution there, but one question asked was, who's cuter, Pikachu or Eevee? And Funko just replied with, you're a monster, and a crying Pikachu gif. And that was almost relatable. Were Eevee not immediately, a million times cuter?
It's, I think that's the other thing that was a little surprising is Pokemon's definitely been, moving towards making Eevee sort of like not their main mascot, but certainly, more of a thing.
I'm really glad they have, because I absolutely adore Eevee.
Eevee's got unlimited potential there.
And, I don't know, I kind of thought that if they were going to do one, that they would do both. Mm-hmm. Just because it would definitely be a easy thing to do. Eevee would
look
good as a
coming
pop.
out right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they did Pikachu alright, and as long as they do Pikachu okay, they can't fuck up Eevee.
I really didn't think Pikachu was going to look good, to be perfectly honest.
It didn't.
When I heard it, I was just like, that's going to look bad.
That's harsh. No, I didn't think it would look good, but it did. But it just looks good. It doesn't look great. It's a good adaptation.
I think Pokemon are kind of hard to do in 3D space, generally speaking, just because
in restricted 3D space, where you have the set parameters of what a pop has to be, Pokemon just won't do
because, like, the Detective Pikachu amiibo looks great.
Because it's an amiibo, again, which comes
they
back
can
to
do whatever
if
they want
the quality, figures for Pokemon, that they do amiibos, but they're doing Funko Pop, so
having pop proportions makes it a little strange.
Yeah.
They don't have too many, like, the closest thing in terms of, like, Eevee to go off of would probably be the direwolves. I think that's the closest, like, quadruped, doggish, cattish. Alias had one, didn't it? Or no, Saga. Saga had one.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was a fucking, what was the thing? I cannot remember. there was a quadruped pop already.
No, there's been a few.
Yeah, and they just don't look.
No, the direwolves look fine. And
like
what's
the
his
dog
bucket
from
dog?
Game of Thrones, the ghost. It looks okay. It's just.
What's his bucket from Fallout?
Oh, you know what looks phenomenal as a four-legged pop?
Meat.
The Heroes of Kurtz. What's that
battle?
What are you saying? What? The Salt Planet in Star Wars. Crate. Yeah, the Heroes of Crate. The Heroes of Crate had a phenomenal pop. I'm talking about those crystal wolves.
Voltex looks fucking great, and that's because it's an Eevee knockoff.
Yeah.
So there we go. We do have basically an Eevee, and so we know that it's going to look good.
I don't want a Star Wars Eevee.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I did, and now I have one, and I no longer want it.
Now I want more Eevee.
Now I want actual Eevee.
I don't know. That definitely caught me off guard today. I'm probably going to try to get it, but it's going to be hard.
Oh, it's going to be
based off of what Target distributions usually look like and how many... There's so many people who are going to want this, plus the resellers. It's going to be a cluster.
Oh, I don't even want to think about the fucking resellers.
If I were to take a guess, at best, I would expect 12 at every Target that got lucky. Because it's a minimum 6. I don't think anybody's going to be getting like 40 or anything like that, though.
Right.
I would really expect 6 or 12 is what we're going to be seeing. And have fun with that if you don't have a hypersaturation of targets.
And even if you do have a hypersaturation of targets, Target's not going to do that stupid policy of buy one, leave the rest for other people.
Oh no, they're miserable.
So one person's going to go in, buy all 12 of them at once, and then just call it, I'm good. I got all the ones I need.
Get their cash money.
Last time you did that was with the Destiny ones, right?
Yeah?
Sounds right. No, there's some since then. There's been a lot of releases this year for, I don't know why, but Funko like decided Target was their go-to retailer. Like there's been a lot of stuff, but like their big exclusives and their stuff where there's only one exclusive has been going to Target.
Mm-hmm. Except for Ahsoka.
I'm glad that they've calmed down on Walmart exclusives because those are not possible to get.
Yeah, you can't.
You have to get them from a scalper. Anything. Target, it's hard, but you could. And same with like GameStop. GameStop, you're mostly fighting against the employees. Target, you're fighting against the scalpers.
GameStop, you're so fighting against the employees. Like, what's with that?
And then Walmart, I don't even know if they actually go to the stores. I think you actually have a better chance of getting a Walgreens one than a Walmart one.
You very much do.
I have never had an issue with this because I just don't really shop around for them, so I've never...
Oh man, it's a fucking pain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, GameStop they'll have 3 in the back in the fucking drawer or just like below the counter, and it's for the employees that wanted one.
Oh, and you'll even hear them talking about it.
And you'll
go like, later in the day.
You go into the up until you go up to the count, or if you come back later in the day, you'll hear them talking about the pops they set aside for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you go up, hey, this GameStop exclusive, can I get one? They're like, oh, we're all out. Every fucking time I've gone in to look for one, it's been them talking about having it,
mm-hmm.
and they're refusing to sell it.
Yeah, they super suck.
I've never had an issue with it, because I've just never gone out of my way trying to find one.
The Target one, it's just the resellers are way too in the system. It's balls.
Because like Target has a pretty consecutive, like pretty normalized shipping day. Like they come in on this day, so if...
Well, like, you know when to expect them, but also sites like, what is it, like Brick and Mortar or whatever, that somehow, I'm pretty sure, not fully legally, know the shipping undisclosed inventory. They know the inventory of every single item at the Target, despite that not being public information whatsoever. Even if it's not listed on the website, it's not listed anywhere. Like, there's no possible way other than by some sketch means that it could possibly have access to those inventory counts, and it always does. So those sites have always bugged me because there's just definitely something sketch going on.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Good luck getting your Pikachu.
They're pops.
But yeah, there's a Pikachu pop. Good luck getting it. It's easier than GameStop. Fuck GameStop. You're going out of business for a reason, and it's because you have shitty sales practices. It's a lot of factors. And one, yeah, the employees are dicks, and I blame them on the Pop's behalf, but I can't blame them on the entirety of the behalf because they get pushed so hard on numbers and having to sell shit and whatnot. Like, we've talked about, I think, before, but like the quotas we have for FYE are fucking nothing compared to what GameStop faces.
Yeah.
They work those workers to the bone.
It's also, like, it was like one of the top 10 worst places to work. It was like a year or two ago.
Yeah, that Walmart, Amazon were like top 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I think EA is actually one of the top 10.
Really?
And just the actual, just wider list. I think I remember that. Like, not even top 10 games places, but like top 10 worst places to work. I think EA was top 10.
Huh. I would not expect that, to be entirely honest.
Other news, we finally got a sponsor.
Really?
Yeah, we're racist, right?
No.
Oh.
No.
Really?
Well, we have 2 of us on record saying bad things.
Oh,
in any case, Papa John's decided to pick up the MoistyVoice.
Woo! Thank
which
you.
Is great.
Great Daddy Blackula Papa John's.
They've only gone down 5% further in their share since last night, but that's not a problem.
But yeah, he, Papa himself done goofed.
Papa the John's Papa said the N-word just like in a media conference.
Yeah, it was like a press conference.
It was like,
or like
some training thing for media.
There was some weird thing, and there's no quote. There's no... Because it was all behind closed doors and kind of off the record, but it somehow got out and was validated by enough people.
Yeah, he validated it.
He was the one who said it.
He owned up to it. He's like,
well, no, I'm saying after the fact, though. It's not like he walked out of it and was like, hey...
Fuck, I'm firing myself!
Media at large. Guess what I said behind closed doors?
He didn't announce it, but...
It was more like it got out, and then he was just like, yeah, totally, I did.
But he did very quickly. It wasn't like a month later.
No, I'm saying like it got out not by him, though.
Yeah.
He just didn't fight it.
Well, you can't fight it.
He's an honest
This is the
papa.
same Papa John's who was subtly racist last year. Their biggest thing is the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Because they've got a huge sponsorship deal with the NFL, and all their ads run during every game. So whenever football's playing, Papa John's makes money.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Papa John's, it's got the better football, better pizza, Papa.
Better football, better racism, Papa John's.
Yeah.
Papa.
But so last year, sales had dropped enough for Papa John's for the stockholders and shit to be like, hey, what the fuck? And Papa the John was saying, well, I blame it on all these people taking like knees in football and these political statements because it's not making people want to watch football and it's stupid.
Yeah. Which
was a solid way to say, fuck all of this motion.
But
I'm gonna scapegoat us not selling well on people trying to, be publicly, let's get better rights for minorities. And then this year, he just goes and says the N-word.
Yeah. Again, I wish I could know the context, because it sounds like it was just completely unprompted and like a throwaway thing, like the Paula Deen thing.
Mm-hmm.
Except hers was more prompted than this. It sounds like he had no reason to be using the word, and it just sort of came out.
He was angry. And, deep down in the primal core...
No, see, he would have said that, though. If you look at all of the conversation around it and his apology, it sounds like he just casually used it just because he felt like it was just so conversational for him that he just kind of slipped it out.
It seems, that's how it comes across.
For no reason.
So last year after the NFL
my
fiasco,
racism just slipped right out of me.
So Papa John is the founder of Papa John's, obviously.
He's
not
the original
just
Papa.
A face person. He's the living guy that still
He's not the
made
Phil
the
Swift
company
of Papa John's.
From the broom closet of his dad's bar. He's, still one for one the same Papa John. It's not like fucking KFC.
Mm-hmm.
And he was CEO up until last year, where he stepped down from CEO after the NFL bit.
Mm-hmm. And
after him saying the N-word, he has been dropped from the shareholders table or whatever.
He was a chairman.
And he's really lost all the important bits of his company now.
It's also probably safe to assume that he won't be the spokesperson.
No, they're definitely gonna get a new one.
That one is gonna have to come to like a vote kind of a thing. So if that comes, it's not gonna be for.
We could be the spokesperson.
Ooh, I could.
MoistyBoiz.
We could be the Papa
for Papa John's. I mean, I prefer Domino's or Pizza Hut over them every single time.
We prefer Domino's or Pizza Hut over Papa John's.
But
if you pay us enough money, we'll give you free.
You can get garlic cups elsewhere. I love the free garlic cup, but then it comes with a free pepper, and then I'm obligated to eat that. I don't want to eat that.
Why would you eat the free pepper?
Because it's there.
But no.
Yes.
Honestly, I kind of want to just order pizza anywhere else, but then also still swing into a Papa John's, because you can buy those garlic cups for I think they're like a quarter. I don't know.
Well, they're the same price at the other places. You just get with the order.
Yeah, but Papa John's is
with
better.
The garlic cup. It is better.
They've got the best garlic sauce.
Domino's is actually, I think, equivalent. It's different, but it's just as good.
I haven't gotten it from Domino's because they don't give it to me for free, so I've never asked for it.
You gotta go out of your way.
We're gonna go on a garlic sauce quest, and we're gonna find.
I got a wing quest, man.
Okay, well.
Man, we haven't done anything for Wing Quest in a bit.
Well, that's poor. Because we need to find. No, it's not so much the poor; it's the fact that we need to find time.
We could find time. We could easily find one day every week or every other week to go to a wing place. That's not a problem.
Unless Nick is involved and Hurricane is involved, because for some reason I've just not. For no reason other than just not going out there yet. I still have yet to go out there.
We're going there and we're getting the best wings I've ever had. That almost convinced me to stay and not go to Texas.
They're wings that almost made you want to... And no, I'm gonna... You know what? Fuck you, Connor. If you hadn't gone to Texas, we would have frequented that place and it would have stayed in business and it wouldn't have closed.
You guys would have kept it open.
I'm blaming this on you.
I have to take that. I'd have put so much of my income into that place had it stayed open. That's not even a lie. Those wings were that fucking good.
It's like an hour away now.
It's a lot further now, but it wasn't then, and by God, I'd have been in such a worse state now.
Oh my God, they were so fucking good, Nick. Like, you think we're joking.
Well, I'm excited. I am. It's just like an hour and a half away.
Yeah. And just think about all the conversations. It'd be like a fucking...
It'd be a road trip.
Yeah, it's a road trip.
If
you want to fund our road trip to Hurricane Wild Wings, just go on to patreon.com and go look up MoistyBoiz at patreon.com. Send us some money. And
I think it actually is just patreon.com/MoistyBoiz.
Yeah, it is. Because I looked.
Yes.
So,
in
go there.
GameStop news, Game Informer is just clickbait now.
Oh,
okay, yeah. What the fuck?
So
that's what I looked. I looked back because you guys said it, and I didn't think it when I read it, and I reread it, and I still don't think it.
It's
It's a poorly worded title, but it's hardly clickbait.
No, it's definitely, if they were saying, hey, game maker Ingress is getting creators of Pokemon Go are getting an anime for the other game they made.
Okay, that's literally what they said.
That's not what the title says.
Pokemon Go creators get anime series for their other game. They just worded it.
That's not the
They
title.
worded it really shittily.
Go creators game Ingress is getting an anime.
Yeah. Pokemon Go's creators are getting an anime.
No. Pokemon Go creators game Ingress is getting an anime.
They're Ingress.
They're
Ingress is the game. They're Niantic.
You don't put Pokemon Go's creators.
That's if you put Niantic, nobody knows what you're talking about.
I don't fucking know what Ingress is.
Bullshit.
Unbullshit. Pokemon Go was the biggest thing for
Pokemon Go was the biggest thing.
By
Niantic was
I know
not.
that fucking Niantic made it.
We had arguments about Niantic for ages.
Of course we did.
So I'm just thinking, okay, Ingress is another
if you put
fucking
Ingress,
group
nobody
that
would
worked
have cared. If you put Ingress getting anime, people would have been like, what? And then if you had explained, oh, it's the Pokemon Go creators' other game, they would be like, oh yeah, you know what? That sounds familiar.
I honestly thought there was a second group of...
belittling
I honestly thought
they have
Ingress...
two games, Nick. They have Ingress and Pokemon Go.
Okay.
Ingress was their second game.
So here's what I thought. Nick. I thought that Ingress was actually another dev group that was working on it. And that's why I was like, okay, so this isn't Ingress getting an anime. This isn't like another game getting an anime. This is just something completely unrelated getting a fucking anime.
This was a shittily worded title, though, because
the MoistyBoiz are getting an anime.
It's very messy. Of like,
we're not a fucking soccer player, and you know that.
The clauses are all over the place, and it's kind of like an inverted sentence, and it's just it's a correct sentence, but it's a very hard to read sentence.
How do you know we're not soccer players, Michael?
Because he said we're not Messi.
I kicked a ball once. This is Messi's last World
Cup.
Can
we vote real quick, ban Michael from talking the next minute? Aye?
Okay.
All right. Bad joke.
1 minute on the clock.
There we go.
I don't know. I didn't feel like it was clickbaity at all. I just thought that it was written very poorly. But honestly, if I was writing for a mass appeal kind of a thing, and not people who I think follow who makes mobile games, because people still don't talk about like, even when Pokemon Go was big, the only time they really talked about Niantic is if it was a business related thing. But if it was anything game related, it would always just be Pokemon Go creator. And I feel like the name Niantic is also just not really the most marketable name. Doesn't really stick. Now you just
hate the name? What the shit?
It just doesn't stick, and I think it's forgetful.
He's got a lot of problems.
Yeah.
But it's weird that it's getting an anime for certain.
Yeah, I don't care for it.
Other things getting an anime, except it's not an anime. Wait, no, I wanted to lead it in with this. What does Uncharted 3 and Avatar The Last Airbender have in common?
I didn't finish either of them.
There you go.
All right, yeah.
That's the story. No, but yeah, so the one of the directors who did like 19 episodes of Last Airbender and the director of Uncharted 3 have started their own company called what is it, like Wonder Spout or something like that. It's
let's find
something
out.
Interesting like that.
So Aaron Haas, former co-executive producer and writer for The Last Airbender, has announced a new animated project called The Dragon Prince is going to stream exclusively to Netflix and he is working on it with Justin Richmond, who is formerly of Naughty Dog and one of the directors of Uncharted 3, under the new studio Wonderstorm.
Wonderstorm.
The two are also working with Giancarlo Volpe, who was the director of 19 episodes.
Yeah.
They're working with him, but he's not one of the two.
So he was the writer, they're working with one of the directors.
Yeah.
It sounds like it's in a lot of ways like Avatar in its general vibe. It's, warring nations in this fantasy world and having to unite them.
So it's, about a quest to reunify the nations of the fantasy world, and there's probably a dragon involved.
So that's going on. It's weird when people from such different creative fields partner like that.
I don't think they're that very different of creative fields.
Well, it just makes you wonder, what were their common circles? Like, when did Naughty Dog director meet up with a Nickelodeon writer?
Sex Addicts Anonymous meeting.
There we go.
Yeah, that'd be it. I that's the only thing that I can think of.
Yeah, that just that was the thing. That's what always gets me, is I just look at it. Anytime I see weird partnerships in like movies or anything,
how did Ezra
I always
Miller
think
meet
like,
Jaden
how did
Smith?
I could see that. That's actually a lot more.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
It's
That's
always just
Twitter.
like, how did they not know of each other necessarily, but like they had to have been in some sort of circles. Like, who's the link where they were at that person's party and that's when they met each other or whatever was happening?
Hugh Hefner.
Heath Ledger's funeral.
There we go. It's actually less believable that they'd be invited to that.
But yeah, they're getting an anime, so if you're a Netflix fan, or either of those two fans, get Netflix.
Is it an anime or is it just a cartoon? Like, is it anime
it's
style?
It's an animated series,
okay.
is what's described as. So it could be anime, but it's likely just some cartoon style.
That's cool. That's cool. I can get behind it.
Other Netflix news, Castlevania Season 2, coming soon.
Oh yeah, in like October, right?
Yep.
So have you watched the Castlevania series, Nick?
No.
It's good.
I know.
Yeah, Nick and I were actually talking about the other day, like, oh, we should watch this.
Yeah, because like
good things.
Every time I open Netflix, that's the recommended thing, so the trailer always plays. And I always have to stop the trailer from playing because I'm doing something. Mm-hmm. I ain't got time for that trailer. No, I do know that it is not perfect, but fucking amazing, and I need to have seen it by now.
Let's see, other weird news of stuff. Joaquin Phoenix's Joker movie we talked about a couple weeks back is actually still working.
Joaquin.
I'm going to fuck it up every time. It's not intentional, and I'm sorry.
Apologize to Joaquin Phoenix.
I will never. If
he
we
works
meet
so
the man,
hard.
I'm going to call him Joaquin to his face.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Jokerin. Hey.
Yeah. So it's official. He's been signed off. It's filming in the fall.
It has a projected budget of $55 million, which is very low.
Yeah.
Yeah, for who's involved, what the project is about, and whatnot. It's expected to be a more of a drama crime series type movie, where it's like his rise to power in the underworld.
It sounds like it's a lot about his king of crime and less about the clown part.
Well, the Prince of Crime.
No one cared who he was until he put on the clown mask.
And it sounds like it's before the clown mask was relevant.
It's not a mask.
It's not a mask. It's not a mask, but that's the idea. Is it's sort of Joker before he went full Joker and more just his.
I really hope it isn't, because that's not a thing. He's not Joker before he's Joker. It's literally he's a different person when he turned into Joker.
The thing that I think they could be really interesting is you don't see a lot of his just general criminal background. Like, it's always his villain, like his super villain stuff. It's all the themes and the Jokers and the plots and the Batman.
That's why
it's never like his bank robbing for the sake of I need money and his drug pushing and stuff like that.
That's another thing. A lot of people have problems with the movie, which were understandable, and it shouldn't have gotten the Oscar. But I love Jared Leto's Joker and Suicide Squad, especially because they showed a lot of the just crime portions of it and not just, hey, I'm crazy.
Yeah.
Is they actually showed him actively working, with his syndicate doing shit.
Because that, has to be a thing. Because he's not just the clown prince of being a fucking clown. He actually is a crime lord.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the Batman villains are, and a lot of them do get that sort of spotlight put on that. But for some reason, Joker never does, really.
Yeah, it's mostly Penguin that gets that spotlight the brightest as far as like Crime Lord goes.
Mm-hmm.
Him or Black Mask, actually.
Yeah. Two-Face just gets like his schemings, but
yeah,
never really
Two-Face, it's always just his personality and schemings. It's less so whatever, he's working on.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, Joker is just as much, really more so than Black Mask even, the crime person in Gotham.
Yeah.
With everything he does.
So I'm really excited to see if
depending
they
on the
give us
like
more of that.
When he's out of the picture.
Yeah. I'm excited to see more of just criminal, crimey stuff.
I'm excited to see it. I'm a huge fan of Joaquin Phoenix. I obviously, when he was crazy young, loved him in Gladiator.
Mm-hmm.
I love both him and ScarJo in Her a couple years back. Adore that movie. And his performances have always been good, in my opinion. And I'm excited to see what this Joker project turns out to be, but I'm still worried because the other Jared Leto solo Joker movie is still, as far as we know, in the works, and Suicide Squad 2 is still going on with Jared Leto reprising the role. So why they're doing the Joaquin Phoenix thing is beyond me, while DC's trying to build the universe to compete with Marvel, while they're constantly, like, cutting themselves back doing side projects.
Yeah, and then canceling those side projects, and then starting up different side projects for some reason.
Yeah, it's so weird.
I don't know. They I guess had a need to fill, and this is what they chose to go with it. He's gonna be. I'm interested to see his take on the character.
I am,
just because it's definitely not going to be like your
normal,
manic crazy.
No, I really hope it's a good take on the character, because since Heath Ledger, it's been an expectation of, well, it's got to be crazier and bigger than that, which I think is a terrible way to look at it. And I don't care for that idea at all. So I'd be excited to see a Joker that played more just hard charismatic like Hamill's, and not so much just fucking insane.
Yeah.
That would be enjoyable.
You gotta watch Batman Ninja.
I do.
You'd like that Joker.
What other... Todd Howard's still a bitch.
Some Todd Howard stuff happened this week.
Oh.
He was a very
charismatic as fuck.
Yeah, he was just very open and humble. I can't say he's wrong.
He was incredibly humble.
He was very right in his statement, and damn him for it.
But he's basically saying, if you want there to stop being Skyrim remasters, stop playing it.
Stop buying
paying for it.
So,
that's the issue.
Well,
he's like,
stop buying it, but the point is, 7 years later, since it's been released, it's still one of the most played games every month. It's got millions of players on Steam regularly. People are buying its copies still for the console remasters.
Yeah, he said, like, we would stop making these remasters, but the fact is they sell massively well every single time.
Yeah.
They sell massively well, people mod the shit out of them, further selling them. Any problems we have, we don't have to fix because someone else will fix for us.
Like, he just literally said, if you want us to stop making it, then stop buying it.
Yeah, that's how that works.
And I was just
I can't
like...
blame him for it.
I was like, damn you, but also, like, yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
You're right, but I wish you weren't.
Todd Howard knows what's up. I think that was what I liked about it the most, was he was just like, you don't think I fucking know? But hey, guess what? It's on you, you dumb fucks.
I like to live in a world where he's unaware. I don't like when he addresses
he's
the
just
things
like, wait,
laugh at him
you
about.
mean people don't want Skyrim 11?
Alright, so now on to what for me is the big bit for this week.
Uh-oh.
Which I hope is going to be a big discussion for us.
Oh, yeah.
Is last week, 2 lead writers for Guild Wars 2 of developer ArenaNet were fired after a public disagreement with a Guild Wars 2 player on social media.
Yes.
Streamer.
Player.
I'm pretty sure that the guy streams it.
Irrelevant.
Okay.
The point of the matter is 2 developer writers arguing with a player, which means active, participant and purchasee of the game. I won't want to remove that title from that. So it's going to take a bit of explaining, because it's a couple factors here that we'll address. One of the writers was on their Twitter, Jessica Price. And there wasn't anything that's prompted this. It was just, I guess, a discussion point she had.
She had a thread going.
Was complaining about something or another while talking to some people. And she was saying that she herself does not believe it's possible to, in an MMORPG, create a character or NPC that is compelling. Because everybody has different expectations about what that character will be, as opposed to a pre-designated character in a single-player game.
Which is fair for the playable character. That's very fair.
Yeah.
Is that they have to make it as much of a shell of a character as possible so that it's believable for it to be anything. It can't be anything because it has to be everything.
It's fair.
Like, who are you in RuneScape? You're literally nothing.
I'm the king of fishing, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So, like, I think that it's very fair in that regard that it's just, you're usually just some person. And it's more your environment and the background you choose.
Right. And I'm saying that she has a valid point there, and I'm not disagreeing with her on that bit. I do agree that it is difficult. It's not say it's impossible. I don't agree with on that bit. But it is definitely way more difficult than opposed to a single-player RPG, simply because that's what a single-player RPG is. It is to make your character compelling.
Yeah.
And then she, listed that and was talking about it, and a different Twitter user responds and was like, hey, this was really interesting to read. However, I disagree slightly. I believe the issue lies more in the genre itself. I don't believe the issue lies more in the genre itself so much as the living constraints of the living story's narrative design.
So he basically, in her defense to how she's going to respond in a little bit here, says, I hear you, but... And then kind of, while adding to it, rewords what she says.
I don't think that's how it came across, and I'll interpret it as that. I see him as he opened up with, hey, this was interesting to read. I really enjoyed it. Mm-hmm. However, I disagree a little bit on this point of your argument. I'm not saying your argument is invalid. I'm saying the factors of what is contributing to this is different. And I'd like to discuss that.
But then he makes a 3-post long, small thesis.
To explain his point, though. Mm-hmm. It wasn't anything further. It was to provoke discussion. And her response to this was, in my opinion, way left field.
No, it was overblown.
It was verbatim, today in being a female game dev.
Yeah.
Allow me, a person who does not work with you, explain to you how to do your job. One... It was really fucking cheap for her to pull this female card. There was nothing that prompted that.
I think that, yes, that could have very much been what he was doing, and more times than not, that's probably what the discussion is like.
That's a common problem.
It's
not this scenario.
This person wasn't completely innocent and did do a little bit of just, I know your job a little better than you. Not a lot. On some level, I could see that being a thing. But it sounded like she was taking an isolated incident and applying her entire past to it as if it was exactly the same.
I still have to disagree with you on your take on the person who responded to this and the pure essence of this is on Twitter.
Yeah.
This is not a personal blog. This is not a private forum. This is social media open to everybody.
Yeah.
It is always, if you post something there on Twitter,
you
are welcoming discussion.
Yeah.
It is there for that.
No, yeah.
And I think that's where it came across was, hey, this was really interesting. I liked your insight here, although I think this, and he would like to, provoke whatever further discussion came of that to try and reach a better understanding between both of them. Mm-hmm. I don't think it was so much as, hey, I see what you're saying, but here's why you're wrong. I don't think that's
No, that's not what he was saying, and that's not what the issue usually is. It's... In terms of, and I think what she was basically saying is I just got mansplained at by someone who has no clue what my job is. And has no reason to talk to me about it, which that is wrong. She was
such
totally
a toxic response to, in my opinion, a very civil reach out here.
I think what she really was doing was saying, this has happened to me so many times that I'm going to assume anytime someone has a discussion with me, that it's the same exact thing. And I'm just always going to have a toxic response as if they had done the thing that I am acting like they did. And that's not good.
Terrible mindset.
That's a terrible mindset. And that's a very problematic mindset. And that's why the situation ended where it will end when we get to that.
And so her next response, after her quoting him and giving the "I'm a woman, what the fuck are you doing?" is verbatim, "The next rando asshat who attempts to explain the concept of branching dialogue to me as if, having worked in game narrative for a fucking decade, I've never heard of it, is getting insta-blocked, PSA." Yeah. It was just further toxicity.
Yeah, she took it from, like, just being very rude to someone, whether or not you could... It was a, I can understand why you did that, it is not justified, to just becoming, like, totally, like, just a full-on attack on the guy.
It was really, really rude.
And I was just like, what the hell?
So this is... Now, as we open, 2 writers got fired. The second one, a friend of hers in the field, obviously, as a fellow writer on the game. I don't feel you could be animostic towards, a coworker in that area.
You don't keep a job long if you are.
Peter Fries then tweets in defense of Price, these are now deleted responses. A lot of these are, but obviously it's the internet, so everything goes auto-archived, and there are links and images and whatnot.
Got the receipts.
Fries is saying, "Here's a bit of insight I legitimately hope he reflects on. She never asked for his feedback."
That is where I think you guys really hit the nail on the head. You put it on Twitter.
It's on Twitter.
You put it on a public forum.
Media, a public area. If you put anything there, you are welcoming feedback. Yeah. You don't put something there and then say, "Don't respond to this," or "Don't talk to me about this."
Exactly.
Is there a way for Twitter for you to like lock something so you can't comment?
You can make your account private.
So like on YouTube, you can
block comments.
When you release a video on YouTube, you can just block comments.
That doesn't exist on Twitter.
Yeah. That's because YouTube's it's in itself a toxic spectrum, and that was something they put in ages ago to fix that.
Twitter, and so, again, I was saying, there's no option on Twitter to say, "I don't want comments on this."
2 things. You're right. Here's why it's still happening. 1, when you private your account, you don't get more followers.
Yeah. No, exactly.
You don't follow a private account. You have to get permission to. People can't see your tweets. They can't see your responses. Yep. It is simply what your circle is at that time. You decide to lock it down.
Exactly.
If you don't private it, it's because you still want more followers. What she was doing here is, I'm a game dev I'm a writer on a game I like. I want to get more followers. I want to interact with people on this. I want to put my opinions on here, but I also want my personal stuff on here. Despite that, trying to get followers from that base, I'm not going to privatize it, but I'm going to complain when people respond to it as if I was.
Yeah, and that's the issue, is that no, she didn't explicitly ask for anyone's opinion, but she implicitly did when she put it on a public forum that exists for the purpose of discussion, of sharing ideas and having other ideas in return shared. Now, there's a wrong way to do it, certainly.
There's a wrong way to do it.
You could go to the Guild Wars 2 forums. I mean, that's an option.
If she wanted to have the best of both worlds, have your own blogspot or WordPress with no comments. There you go.
Don't mix multiple things into one.
But yeah, no, the second person I am just like, okay, yeah, no, she didn't, but she didn't have to. Like, that's just the nature of what she posted to.
And then it was couple more.
Yeah, it goes back and forth a bit. The guy responds. His response was pretty fuckboyish in just that side hashtag.
So then Price, the second writer, replies later, since we've got a lot of hurt man feels today, let me make something clear. This is my feed. I'm not on the clock here. I'm not your emotional courtesan. Just because I'm a dev, don't expect me to pretend to like you here. Which is something you can't do if you, in a public space, recognize your position, have a public profile that's not privatized to friends, and then decide to attack people about your business in a personal field. Yeah. No matter what you're doing, there will be backlash for that. Yeah. Especially more so when your game is an online game where you have to interact with those players so much more.
It's not like Roseanne could have just gone, hey, this is my personal Twitter, not my professional Twitter. Don't let that get into my business. Yeah. It's like, no, you're the same person. This will affect both aspects. It doesn't matter if you're talking about, hey, new update coming on the next patch, or, hey, I don't care for black people.
Two very different things.
They're going to affect you equally.
It's such a mess.
And people who follow you because of the first thing are going to see that second thing and think, is this how are these related? Because there's got to be some sort of relation here. Because it's your fucking job to do this, and now you're including in your fucking job this.
So God. About your comment. So yeah, the final just reply to this entire thread was made by the guy who, in the beginning, responded to her saying, "Hey, I see what you're saying. Here's my feedback."
Player.
The player then entered the thread. It is a little fuckboy. I think he went about the wrong way, but I still respect the notion. I'll explain why after the tweet. And here's verbatim the tweet. In a world where discussions should be encouraged and not belittled, yet the opposite becomes reality, I've apparently found myself in the midst of a war I never intended to partake in. Disappointed, that's all. Hashtag I'm a feminist.
Super fuckboy response.
Very fuckboy response. Just really
There's no reason for that
hard
last
victim
bit.
playing, kind of being a dick.
Well, the whole thing, the last bit was just like, sort of like the icing on the fuckboy cake. But there was a way...
The last bit is actually the bit I have the least amount of problems with.
I felt like after what he had, if it was a different tweet that ended with that, I would have read it differently. But because it was that tweet ended by that, I was just like, really?
There was no reason for the last bit.
No, there was reason for the last bit. There wasn't reason for him being an asshole on the first bit.
No, there was no reason for any
the whole
of it.
thing
The whole
was
thing
a...
was just
It was two different mistakes.
It
was two different mistakes. And yeah, that's a point I'm trying to make. I understand the I'm a feminist bit because she turned it into an attack on his character when she turned it into him attacking a female in the gaming world.
And it is relevant that she does that, or that she did that because, as Michael mentioned, he is a streamer. Her attacking his character could have an effect on his livelihood.
Right. And him responding with I'm a feminist with the confines of the rest of the tweet... Not so great. Had the first half been different, I think it could have been better. But I'm not saying that putting the hashtag feminist is wrong. I think that was the right move, just done poorly.
I think it was a well-meant thing. I need to look at more of his stuff. I don't know the guy.
Yeah.
Context really makes the difference with those kinds of things. It was definitely sort of just a PR thing. Like, he just wanted to make sure that this wasn't going to hurt his income. And I get it. And that's what I think is most, especially bad about what she did, was to attack him like that and potentially hurt his livelihood over what probably not the best response, or could have been an easily mistaken response to her tweet, certainly. But no reason to, destroy someone's career. Which is funny how it backfired and destroyed hers.
It did backfire, yeah. It really fucked her up.
The two of them really forced the company's hand, and I think it's when she made that second tweet. When she said the ass hat doody boop bop doo, like that's where the company had to say something.
If she had just ended at the first toxic response, I think there wouldn't have been action taken on ArenaNet's behalf.
Behind the scenes, maybe. They would have reprimanded, say, lay low on Twitter for a bit.
Just back off on Twitter. But when she then just kept going with I've got the high ground, fuck you for attacking me, what is this bullshit, I'm the person in the job. Obviously, they attacked on that. It was... So, as a wrap-up of this whole thing, I very much support ArenaNet in firing these two.
Yeah, no.
Price should not have jumped in, and if he had,
super weird.
It was very weird for him to have jumped in. And if this was one of you two going off at some player on a public forum like this, then if I came to your aid, it definitely will have been as a hey, fuck you too. It will have been as a diffuser to try and keep both of you off.
Exactly.
And he just instead came in to attack the guy with her, which was the wrong move.
Yeah, you don't just double team the guy who... Yeah, it was just super gross.
You don't double team someone who's publicly hosting events on your fucking game. Because that's
I don't want to play the card of...
Is that what is he a Guild Wars streamer?
I looked him up, as I was kind of sitting here this morning, I'm like, you know what, I want to find out who this guy is. So, he is a Guild Wars streamer. Okay. And he puts on fucking events in the game that are just unrelated, and apparently a lot of people join in on the events. He put in some kind of weird Eurobeat thing that just happened this, last week.
So he's not like a huge public personality, but he is a relatively positive personality for the game.
Yes, he's not a great big public thing. Most thing that he does is he just tries to host fun events to keep the game. Because, when was the last time you heard about Guild Wars before this?
Often, actually, I have friends that play it, but outside of the friends that play it, I don't.
Yeah, it's like, I fucking own the game. I haven't played it.
I'm pretty sure I got it in a Humble Bundle at some point.
Last, content update, and that was just to kind of be like, I wonder what this is. Then it wasn't anything great, but still, the fact that there's somebody who's just trying to put together things in the game when the developers aren't, I feel like he's actually putting something into the community. And sure, he's not doing character writing or something like that, but it's someone who's helping your fucking game, even if they're not being paid for it.
And I see that point, and I agree with it to an extent, but I hate playing the card of, you now have to just be super kind to the people that pay your checks.
No, and I don't think that you have to, but I think it is a relevant factor to take into consideration.
It is.
Okay, so in the service industry, you have to be kind to the people who...
I mean, as a waiter, obviously, in America at least, the entire fucking program is, you have to be way too kind to people who will treat you like shit in order to live.
Yeah.
And that's a whole different thing that's terrible that we could discuss at a time. But in terms of the MMORPG gaming thing, if you're representing that and you're attacking the people that are socially within the game, larger players that definitely keep people playing and keep them coming back and spending money on your game, maybe the same kind of thought process of don't fucking attack them.
No, that's exactly what I'm getting at.
And I don't like it when that's the basis of an argument.
I don't think it's the basis here, but I think it's definitely a sort of...
It's a relevant factor.
It's a part of the
argument. They provide... Your company provides a service.
The thing is, though, let's say you have a game, and you have this player... Let's take Fortnite, for example. You have a player who has spent more than any other single player in the entire game, who has literally somehow managed to put millions on his own, if he wasn't for the fact that he isn't actually addicted, a whale by any other name. And he goes and he decides to be a total asshat and just absolutely shit on, I don't know, let's say some 5-year-old kid.
Yeah.
He's on YouTube and he just, he, short of swatting him, just really animosity, threatening, all these things. It does not matter if he is the reason your game is financially successful. Maybe it's a factor when you consider something like, our devs said something mean to him, but, we have to do lip service to him. No, but it doesn't matter what they give to the game in certain circumstances. And that's what I think Connor's issue is it's not a blanket argument. Yeah. And it should never be the primary reason you do anything is because they gave money.
No, I understand that. It's similar fucking thing. Exactly what you were talking about. That exact situation happened to Video Game Donkey a few years ago when he got banned from League of Legends because of him being toxic in chat. And that was to someone who was actively feeding in the game and ruining things for him. He was trying to record a video.
So he just raged, basically.
Yeah, and he raged at the person. And he raged to this one member of the community. And they actually banned him for a week. And
that's a two-part. Both of them were wrong. Donkey's... I can't defend him at all here. Because if you're an asshole, you're an asshole.
No, and one of the things that happened is he messaged them saying, hey, could you unban me for just a few days and then put the ban back on so that I could finish up a video? And they replied with, lol, no, you're toxic.
Well, that's the right response.
See, yeah, and I like that. Yeah. I think that they knew who he was, and they knew that it would probably be better for the game if they unbanned him, because it would be great publicity when he makes some video.
Yeah.
But they were like, no, I don't care that you're Video Game Donkey. You fucked, and now you're going to deal with it, boy. And it works both ways, but I don't think that, let's say if this was just some Joe Schmo, I think it would have been the same result. It doesn't matter that the guy that Price and, I forget the guy's name.
Price, well, no, she's, Jessica Price, and he is Fries, I believe.
Yeah, so Price and Fries, if it was just some introductory player, I think that this would have been the same outcome.
Yeah.
I don't think that they took into consideration that it was a community figure, or they took it into consideration, but I don't think that changed the outcome. But sometimes it could, and that's not fair. This guy didn't do anything terribly awful, and her response was terribly awful, and then the guy piggybacking it escalated it unnecessarily.
Yeah. Could you think of...
And everything unfolded as it frankly should have.
Could you think of any game where if a player gets slighted by the developers would take immediate action to change something in the game or personnel staff?
Blizzard would do something. I just see them on any of their properties. If like somebody decided to be just a dick to any player for no reason, that there would probably be like an immediate response.
I mean, with how much the Overwatch devs fucking bow to the players.
It does create an issue sometimes.
So yeah, you're saying that like Blizzard's probably the only dev team.
I wouldn't say only. I think that's just
that's the first that comes to
question
mind.
that has way too many factors that we would have to really consider a lot of different companies and their practices and what they can't afford within their games and player bases.
For me, Blizzard's thing is that
players come first.
Well, they like to come off as one of the players. So even when they totally tell off somebody, they do it in a way that is hilarious. Like they just throw shade on some dude and everybody laughs about it, and they're never usually too harsh.
Yeah.
But they're not afraid to like actually go all out and throw a punch at somebody who's just being a real piece of shit.
Right.
Like they've had multiple situations with Overwatch where somebody actually did think that they knew better and just shat on them, and they just shut them down with a single comment. But they do it in such a way that they don't come off as assholes, that they come off as what Rebecca Price was trying to be, of this like, look at me, I'm standing up for us devs, but I'm also having fun about it, and people are going to love me more because of it. Blizzard does a great job with that, of just being one of the, for lack of a better term, like, we're just one of the guys.
I'm all behind, I think we all are around that firing these two writers.
Yeah.
I hate when instances like this happen, because up until this point, she might have provided a hell of a lot of great content for the game. I don't know what she personally worked on. She might have been a really good person up until now, like as far as community or hanging out or just, within the confines of Guild Wars 2. Mm-hmm. And then the moment she decides to just be a toxic and, regardless of gender, I'd say this is the same with Fries, just toxic bitch about the situation, is I can't ever now support this person because of this way rash reaction they had with this, which hurts.
Yeah. It's a bummer, especially when it is like a dev or a creator who is good. And like, you do know what they've done.
If she's done a lot of great creative content for Guild Wars 2, I'd have loved that. But now that she's been, a complete dick about this situation, I don't want to support any further projects she's on.
It's like everything that's been going on in Hollywood for the past year and a half.
Yeah.
It's like, well, fuck. Now, anytime I watch your previous works, it's going to be tainted. And I do not want to support any future projects of yours because you're just a piece of shit. And I don't want you to get paid for it.
Casey Affleck.
Yeah. Except I don't care about his career ever. I have never at any point liked him.
Oh no, I've never cared about his career, but he's been good in some roles. I liked him in Ocean's 11.
Did he ever come back for Ocean's 13?
Yeah, I think so. Maybe.
Okay.
It's been a while since I've seen Ocean's 13.
I heard they're making a new... Okay, so there's making...
13 wasn't the bad one.
They're making a... No. I'm pretty sure Ocean's 8...
He said it was a good thing.
Ocean's 8's going to be the bad one.
It's already out.
Was the bad one.
Okay,
it came out like 2 weeks ago.
That's how you know it's a bad one, where you didn't even realize it was out.
Yeah.
No, it was... there's been a lot of...
I've actually heard a lot of good about it.
I've heard some good. I've heard much more bad.
I have actually heard nothing about it.
See, I have a hard time going off of that. Anytime anytime there's a specifically female-led film, especially if it's an adaptation, I can't trust good or bad reviews. I can only trust my own because everyone has an agenda in reviewing it.
They do. Whenever I say I've heard reviews of X, I'm only speaking of people whose reviews I trust. When speaking of others, you're in that group. People who have biases or any sexist opinions don't. So when I say it for both good and bad reviews, it's from people I respect, kept the all-female out of that opinion.
Most of my, like, if I said I've seen reviews, it comes across just as, like, the sum of my feed. And gotcha. I go more off of a, professional critics and non-professional critics as a whole seem to have this opinion. That's what I say when I say I've heard X about it. Mm-hmm. But anytime it's like a remake or adaptation or sequel, and they do some sort of change, like all-female, black cast, anything like that, I just immediately do not trust any opinion other than my own, because I don't have set people that I trust.
And that's why I don't like professional reviews that often, is because they very much focus on those aspects as either a harsh pro or a harsh con, rather than just, the story or quality of the film itself.
Yeah, it's like how I don't care how it was for being a X, Y, or Z, or that doing this wasn't as bad or wasn't as good as I thought it would be. I just want to know, was it a good film? Were the decisions in terms of casting and all these things, for the better of the film? Did it feel like that's all you were watching, or was there more to it?
In any case,
so where do I fall on your
topic?
Where do I fall in your spectrum of reviews?
You don't. You don't have.
You can't trust me?
Well, you don't see movies often enough, and you also don't really have opinions on movies you've seen.
For me, I shouldn't say almost always, but I usually can tell how you're going to react to something, because you are like the bias king of, not of like, political, these kinds of things, but you like what you like.
Yeah.
And you do not like what you do not like. No. So if I see something and I'm like, that is not the Michael thing, I'm like, Michael's not going to like that. And then you say, I didn't like it. And I'm like, I knew Michael wasn't going to like that.
I very much wear my heart on my sleeve.
So it's just, I like hearing when you have dissenting opinions about things that I thought you would like. Anytime you have a surprising opinion, it does have weight for me. Of if I thought you were going to say one thing or feel a certain way and it's totally different, I actually usually put a lot of weight on that, because, not to say that because you're so predictable, but when you go against your norm, there's usually pretty good reason for it.
I can't think of a single time I've done that recently.
It's not been recent.
Yeah, that's kind of exactly why.
You got BlazBlue and you're happy. Don't buy BlazBlue.
Oh my god, BlazBlue. It's got everything!
It doesn't have an accent on the A, it can't be BlazBlue.
It actually is BlazBlue.
Yeah, there you go. Bitch.
No, it's hard pronounced BlazBlue.
Yeah.
But holy fucking shit. BlazBlue apparently has a squirrel girl. And it's literally like what Michael likes in character design, the person.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's bad. It's bad.
See, that's the thing is, you are both the most niche, but also the easiest audience to hit.
Yeah.
Like, somehow, you have very specific interests, but you happen to share them with enough people where it's just like, fuck it.
I can talk about anything.
They'll be like, fuck it, let's throw insert X, Y, and Z unrelated things, and yet somehow a bunch of people are about it, and when I see it, all I think is Michael. But somehow a huge demographic is also there. That, or you just are like the perfect intersection of weird shit all the time. Like, they're trying to hit 3 different markets, but what they're actually hitting is one Michael.
Yeah, I actually feel like I've been targeted recently because...
There's been way too many things that are way too Michael for me to be comfortable.
I don't know if I'm being... maybe my FBI agent's just doing good work.
I'm convinced somebody's, like, hooking diodes up to your brain when you sleep, and it's just like, let's make this guy happy.
Maybe the police are doing it.
Yeah, maybe. It's been a very Michael season.
Yeah. One quick question. Did you guys ever come up with an answer from last week?
What was the question?
The time where you got a small tip with something you were struggling,
something that you were
and it made a
struggling
huge
with, something
difference.
you got one quick tip, and people hate it.
And then suddenly the thing was not a thing anymore. I still can't.
Yeah, I don't have problems.
He's perfect, and I don't do enough.
I'm skilled, bro.
I just don't do enough things to have enough times where I can think of something Again, the thing we went with was the...
or something.
Well, the thing we went with was the Zenyatta thing. But like it would probably be something in my like video or film work or in my writing. I mean, there's definitely be tons of moments during college where I would like get a writing tip or just like a one-off comment, and I'd just be like, "Oh shit!" As simple as that is, I had never actually thought about that. And it's not like it made a world of difference, but I definitely would like take it to heart and apply it later. I've never had anything where it's just like everything is different now.
Yeah.
Or at least something that mattered enough to remember that it did that.
Okay.
I've definitely had that happen, but all in very inconsequential and unmemorable moments.
Okay.
And I'm still perfect, so...
And he's still perfect, so like, yeah.
Unless either of you can think of a time I was having difficulties and you gave me a tip that enabled me to succeed.
We've only had one model painting day. But one of these days, something will click.
Maybe, yeah, and again, it might be a model painting soon. We'll find out. In any case...
Kill yourself?
It's that simple! Oh shit!
That's all it took. 3 simple tips. Connor hates it.
But as Connor was saying, but anyways, it's about that time of the week.
Is that even connected to anything? Are you just telling me to kill myself?
No.
He said don't. Did you not hear the don't?
No, it was very much a just kill yourself. Was that
he
even...
said don't. He said don't kill yourself. You're gonna have to play it back later. Audience, you heard it. And you can hear us again next week and also on iTunes and the Google Play Store and Stitcher and all your favorite places. I guess SoundCloud, SoundCloud's a thing.